Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Sharmit. In this session, we will discuss about another topic related to HTML where we will learn how we can create different types of button in HTML forms. Prior to this session, we have already discussed various other things related to HTML form. So if you have not watched those sessions, then I would recommend you to please go and check out those session first because these all sessions of playlist are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow them sequentially, then it would be very easy for you to understand the ongoing topic. Okay, but for now we are just focusing on the types of button. Although during the sessions when we were discussing about the input field, that time also we discussed like how we can create a different types of button using input field, but that was input field type button, right? Input field type button. But today we are going to talk about button itself, like how we can create the button and what are the benefit of using that button. Clear? So let's start, and right now you can see I have already created the basic thing of HTML code, and here you can see we have just noted down some comment line, one heading, HTML by Tech Sharmit. So if I show you the output of this program right now, so if I press Ctrl S for save and refresh my browser, so output is coming like this, HTML by Tech Sharmit. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to create a program where we will use different types of button, and we will also understand the purpose of using different buttons. Okay, so let's start. So firstly I will write here one heading just to show it on a output screen. So I will write h2, and here we will write types of button in HTML forms. Remember one thing, we are just learning it in terms of forms, okay? But it doesn't matter that it doesn't mean that you have to use it only in forms. You can use it outside the form as well, okay? Same thing, like input field, we have discussed this different type of input field, but those fields you can also use without forms as well. Likewise, we have different types of button, and that we can use outside the form as well. There are some types that we are not supposed to use outside, like submit, right, and reset. So that, but I'll explain you the each type, and then it would be really very clear to you like how we can use it. All right. So we just mentioned types of button in HTML form. Now we will define the form because we are talking about forms from sometimes. So let's define form, and here I will write form action as well because I just want to submit this form to a page, TSPGM10. Now what is this TSPGM10? So whenever user provide the data to this form and click on submit or maybe any other button, it will take it will capture those user data and send it to some page, and that page would be TSPGM 10. Okay, so as per your requirement you can provide any page name. So this is nothing but a HTML page which we developed in one of our previous session. Okay, so whenever user click on button, it will take that data to this particular page. Fine. All right, so we are ready with this. Now it's time to create one input field for the test purpose only. So we would need one input field at least. So I'll define here input type text. Okay, but we are using in terms of text, not on as a button. Okay, input text, and name would be username. So why we are using it? Because we are using button text, so at least we need one input field for the demo purpose. Clear? So let's add heading now. We are going to talk about the first tag. So I'll write here heading submit button in HTML. Okay, so we are going to talk about submit button. Like what is submit button? Okay, so to define this button, what we can do, we can simply write here button, and we can give any type text here like submit button itself. Okay, let's give it submit button, and now we are supposed to provide the type of this button. So if you write here type in this block, after button you can write type. So there are four options: button, menu, submit, and reset. So let's talk firstly, we are talking about submit button. So I'll just mention it as submit, and we are ready with this button. Okay, So what this button is doing now, if I do Control S for save and refresh my browser, you will see it is coming like this. Types of button in HTML forms, then one input field, and then the submit button. So what this button will do now, let's say if I put some name here, okay, and click on submit button, it will take me to this TSPGM 10 page with the data username. Okay, so that means whenever user click on the submit button, it will capture the all data from the fields of the form and then navigate it to the next page. So this is the purpose of submit button. And if we are not providing any data and click on submit, it will go blank. You can see username is blank. Okay, so although like we have used submit button in all of the sessions where we talk about the forms, but we were not doing in terms of types, right? So now we are just talking about the types of button. So I think this button type is clear. Submit button in HTML. Now let's talk about the reset button, how we can use reset button. So for this you can simply write here h2, and here I'll put the heading reset button in HTML. Okay, reset button in HTML, and below to this we will write here button reset form. Okay, and here we are supposed to provide type as reset because we are talking about reset button. So let's select reset. Once you select this and click on save or refresh your browser, you will see reset form button is here. Now why we use this form? So let me show you this thing. So I just put one name here. Now I don't want to submit this data. Let's say there are multiple fields. For now we have only one field, but it might be possible there are 10 or 12 fields in a form, right? Or more than that. So in that case, if I realize like I have provide wrong data in all fields, so it's very time taking to clear one by one each field. So instead of that, what we can do, we can simply click on this reset button and it will clear the data. Okay, on a single click, not only for this field, but if there are any other fields also on this form, it will clear that as well. Okay, so this is the purpose of using reset button. Now you can relate it with a website. Let's say if there is one website which is providing the registration form. So in that registration form, usually it comes with two buttons, submit and reset. So if you want to submit your data, you can click on submit button, and if you want to reset your form, then in that case you can use reset button. Clear? Fine. Now let's talk about the next button, which is normal button. So let me show you what is this. So here I will write here h2, and here I can simply put normal button. Clear? And to define the normal button, you just need to write here button tag, and here we will write normal button, or maybe here we can write normal button in HTML. Normal button in HTML. Okay, so let's save it and refresh your thing. Now why do we need this button? Like let's say if I fill up this form and I click on normal button, will it submit the form? Yes, it is submitting. So like is it the same function that we are supposed to do with normal button? No. Like right now we are just using this button and it is submitting the form because we have already set up one submit button. I think we have not mentioned the type, that's why it is submitting. So let me add the type here and we will mention it as button. Now just save it and refresh it, because by default it is a submit button. Now if you click on normal button, it will not submit the data. So I think two things is clear now. First thing, if you are not providing any type, it will be considered as a submit button. And if you are clicking on normal button, it will not do nothing. Then why do we need it? We will need it. Let's say if you are working with JavaScript, although we have not discussed that part, but later when we are going to talk about JavaScript and other languages like Angular and other frameworks, right? So at that time, if you want to do any custom operation with a button, because we know submit is doing submission, reset is doing reset, but how we can perform specific task. Let's say I want to click on button and I want to show a window to user. So in that case, we will utilize this normal button, and this button will be used with some IDs. So we will use some other properties in order to capture or perform this data, or to capture or to trigger this button. Okay, but for time being, you can just assume that yes, we have one button type which is uh, normal button type, and this button is mainly used to prepare customized operation. Clear? Let's talk about the third button, which is not so popular nowadays because most of the browser is not supporting this button, but still I'll just show you in a quick way like how we can declare it. The button is menu button. Previously it was used, but now it is not. No one is using this button because it is no longer in use, but still I'll show you how we can create it. So the name is menu button. Okay, so to create the menu button, you just need to type here type as menu. So why do we need it? Again, this is also related to the custom button, and you can see we have not specified type. Okay, we have specified type, still it is accepting the thing. But overall, you can say there are only three buttons that we mainly use, which is submit button, reset button, and custom button, means button. So this button we can use in order to create custom operations. We will see in the upcoming session like how we are utilizing those buttons to make a custom operation. Okay, but I hope today's session is clear to all of you, where we just discussed the types of button in HTML form. Again, I'm repeating that you can use these button outside the form as well, except submit and reset. But it is I will leave it to you, like you can try and you can let me know like are you able to perform this on normal fields as well, without forms. Clear? So yeah, that's all for today. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.